glorious day as we come together to acknowledge that there's a power for good in the universe greater than we are, and we can use it, and we are using it every single day of our lives, whether we are consciously aware of it or not. This is why I love our way of life, is that we get conscious, we become mindful, we become aware. So as we come together and acknowledge this glorious day, if you're tuning in at this moment, this message is for you, because we know nothing happens by chance. Everything is by divine appointment. And on this 44th anniversary of my ministry, I want to also put it out there to the Santa Clarita Spiritual Center and acknowledge you that you're still going strong. And I actually spoke for them a couple of years ago on their 42nd anniversary, which was my 42nd anniversary, because on October 12, 1975, I founded that ministry. Now, today's topic is that there are no limits, that everything is possible. And when I graduated from the School of Ministry, I went up to the Santa Clarita Valley. There was no Science of Mind Church there. In those days, it wasn't the Spiritual Center, or they changed the name because people were confusing it with Scientology. So I founded that ministry, and we had a dear friend named Peter, and he was an artist, and he made this great big sign that said, "The Science of Mind Church of Positive Thinking." And the powers that be at the headquarters of religious science said, "Well, we really don't like the name of your center." And I said, "Well, I'm going into an area that's never heard of Science of Mind or religious science. This is Newhall, Saugus, Canyon Country, Valencia." And we moved into Valencia, and they have never heard of this, most of them. And so they have heard of the power of positive thinking with Dr. Norman Vincent Peale. Let's jump on that bandwagon, because we know where thought goes, energy flows. And so the head honcho at the United Church of Religious Science, Dr. Elmer Gifford, they were like scolding me for going out and starting it without, really permission. I just thought, they said, "We want 2,000 churches in the year 2000. So I had this great vision, went out and founded it, and on the first day, 300 people showed up in the Santa Clarita Valley. And Neil Stroud, when he did Sunday school, and if his voice got kind of loud, that we had some twins that acted up, we knew that the twins were acting up and that he was just acknowledging that. And we went on with it. And in the energy field of the William S. Hart Ranch, where I founded the Center for Spiritual Living in Santa Clarita, the Science of Mind Church of Positive Thinking, there were buffalo. So we had the buffalo roaming, at the park, and we were in the main hall, the William S. Hart Hall, and it was just an amazing time in 1975. So Dr. Gifford said, "Bring me a church and all is forgiven." Right? Bring me a church and all is forgiven. Because I was like a zealot. They wanted 2,000 churches in the year 2000. So, you go out and found something. And it's not easy to found something. I'm the founder here because Terry Cole Whitaker, who founded this ministry in 2000, did it under the Adventures in Enlightenment. And when she left, she took the nonprofit and all of that with her, the shingle with her. So we had to reestablish Interfaith Ministries Worldwide. And I want you to know, I didn't really relate to the name. I thought it sounded fundamentalist, and so I added a New Thought community so people would know that we were a New Thought community. But throughout the years, as I think of the grain of mustard seed and today's topic, Kala, in the ancient Huna religion, the Hawaiian sacred religion, Kala means you are unlimited, all things are possible. So if we have the faith, the inner faith, as a grain of mustard seed, and we say to this mountain, this situation, this problem, this challenge, remove hence, it does. Because with God, all things are possible. But with man, they are impossible. Because man's doing his ego thing. This morning, I presented Dr. Roger Babinet with the Golden Buddha Award, and all of our volunteers that make interfaith happen. And I was explaining that in the early centuries, that when the Burmese came in and attacked Siam, that they hid their more valuable things, and one of them was this golden Buddha. It wasn't very large, but it was solid gold. And they put layers and layers and layers of mud over it. And having done that for centuries, it stood in their temple. You know, it was just like a sculpture, but it was mud. And when the freeway came through, they needed to move some things, and they had to move their temple, and they had to move this sculpture of Buddha. And as they were moving it, they put it in a special place, and they would come out and check on it. And one of the monks saw something shining through. It was like this golden ray of energy shining through this mud, this sculpture. And he took his hammer and his chisel, and he began chiseling away until there was the solid gold Buddha that people come from far and wide in the world to go see it in Thailand. It's called the Golden Buddha. So we liken it to our ego. We've got layers and layers and layers of stuff, you know, that we have allowed ourselves to experience because of fear. And it's our fear-based thinking that gets us into trouble. And that fear, to me, that's the F word, is fear. And when we begin to look fear in the face, it disappears in the natural process of life itself. And the ancient monks, you know, would go out and they would collect strawberries. And they would, you know, go into the fields. And one day, this huge Bengal tiger came upon one of the monks, and he climbed down the craggy little cliff, and he sort of sat there, and there's the tiger above him. He thought, how can I get down? What happened? As he was approaching the path, climbing down, there was another tiger at the bottom of the cliff. At that moment, there was a wild strawberry growing out of the craggy cliff. He reached out, he plucked it, he tasted it, it was divine. In that moment, he experienced nirvana, which is the highest state of heaven on earth that one can experience in the Buddhist religion. He transcended his experience. He lived in that present moment. A tiger above him, a tiger below him. But at that moment, a beautiful strawberry, ready to be plucked, tasted, and enjoyed. It's about living in the moment. Do we have tigers above us? Sometimes. Tigers below us? Sometimes. But when we embrace tiger, when we look it in the face, it becomes a paper tiger. It is only the light and the energy that we have given unto it. And if we give it undue energy, it is absolutely devastating. But when we say, oh, okay, this thing has come up. I'm embracing it. I'm not going to give my power away to it. I'm breathing into it. And when we breathe into a situation, what does the situation do? It shifts the energy. And it becomes a portal for us to walk through. And believe me, in this 44 years in the ministry, I've had many situations running nonprofits. Very scary situations. And always there is the miracle that's there, that comes through at the exact moment that we let go and let God do what God does best by means of each and every one of us who saw the vision. And if we keep our eye on the vision, something happens. And we make that shift and we don't give our power away to it. Do we experience dis-eases and things that come up in our life? They have bubbled up to be healed. And if they bubble up to be healed, and I always say, I bless medical science. I'm a naturopath. But, hey, when I had back surgery last year, my orthopedic surgeon was just Johnny on the spot. He said, I'm a good mechanic. That's what he referred to himself. I'm a good mechanic. Okay, So he put the titanium in my lower back. I went through that experience. I'm now bionic, right? And came through to the other side. I was also needing to move at the time. So 12 weeks after major surgery, I was in the middle of a move. But where I live, there's minerals. So I was in the mineral hot springs every single day and had this amazing recovery because of not buying into, oh my God, I got surgery, now I gotta move, and all the things that the ego does. We gotta take the hammer and the chisel, and we've got to what? We've gotta pound away at that stuff that we have gathered that has layered itself upon us. It's the peeling of the onion, as it were, and realize that it's about our divinity, and it's about being in the world, but of a higher spiritual vibratory frequency. To be in the world is to have our experience. To be in the world is to live and to laugh and to express, and sometimes we need to weep. Because what are our tears? They're the cleansing energy of the soul. So today, as we look at all the lack, limitation, and scarcity in the world, there's a place in us that knows that we are unlimited. There is that place. One time Buddha was walking with his disciples and he asked his disciple, there's a lake there, would you bring me some water? And the disciple took his pail, his little bucket, his pot, and he went down to the water. Well, there were women washing. There was a man who had an ox cart, and he's going through the lake with his ox cart. The water was muddy. You couldn't even, it was just unbelievably dirty. So he went back to Lord Buddha and said, oh, Master, I could not bring you the water. It was just muddy and dirty with everything, all the activity that was going on. And so after about 30 minutes, Lord Buddha said, would you go to the lake to the same disciple and bring me some water? And he went down with his pot, and the water was clear. And he filled his pot, and as he filled the pot and took it to Buddha, Lord Buddha received it, and he said, we waited for the water to calm, for the mud to recede to the bottom of the lake, so that the clear water could arise. This too is like your mind. The more disturbed it is, you can't think clearly. It's muddied. But the minute you sit down for 30 minutes and go within, it becomes calm and clear, and we drink in life itself. So it really is about allowing ourselves to be still and know that I am God. That we are co-creators with our higher power. And someone once said to me, I was being interviewed, so you think you're God? And I said, we believe God, the Creator, that we are co-creating with God because we are created in the image and likeness of God. And we're told that it's not only good, it is very good. And when we get that, everything opens. I had an experience the other day. My ice maker broke, and so the repairman came. And I asked, I have off-white carpeting. I asked, do you have booties? And he said, oh, no, I don't. I said, oh, well, do you mind taking off your shoes? And he said, oh, I can't take off my shoes. And I said, oh, dear, well, I don't usually let people in unless we have booties or they, take in take off their shoes. So whatever that is, we're blessing it and we're acknowledging that there's a power in the universe that clears that energy field for us. So we're having, this kind of a very interesting conversation. And so what he does is he walks out, into his truck. And I said, you're leaving without even being on the solution level? I mean, he's here to fix my ice maker. He's there. I said, I can easily get some plastic. And so what happened was, what he did is he left. And he left in a big huff. So when he left, I called, the company and said, your repairman left, and he was rather upset. There must be something going on with him because I'm sure it's not about booties, right? The Course in Miracles states, you are never upset for the reason you think. You are never upset for the reason you think. And I said, so obviously it wasn't about booties, it was about something else. And energetically, we're just blessing whatever that sound is, we're blessing it, letting it go. I have compassion, so, how can we resolve this situation? And she said, I will send out another repairman. And in doing that, I just kind of went with them and thought, how could I have handled it differently? When somebody reacts. And I did remain calm. I just thought we could be on the solution level. I thought plastic works, because his tennies were kind of greasy. And, but he became so offended that he left. So I know it wasn't about that. It was about something that he was going through. So energetically, when we have these experiences, that if we can just send out our light, our compassion, and realize we're not always going to resonate at the same level. And if we're not resonating at the same level, it's not bad or good, it's just the way it is. And sometimes people go off in a huff, and he was yelling and getting in his truck and screeching out. You gotta just send compassionate energy. And I realized I was not the target. I was in the firing range of whatever was going on with him. So I did not take it personally. And I'm glad that the new guy is going to be there tomorrow to fix the ice maker, because here in the desert we do need our ice, don't we? Absolutely. So life happens. And we just have to keep drawing the larger circle. And last week I had the opportunity to speak for it was the Global Society of Female Entrepreneurs. And I left them with a story, and it's one of my very favorite stories. And I'm going to leave today with this story. And the story is about an eagle, a little eaglet that fell from its nest. And the farmer just put it in with the chickens, to protect it. And the little eaglet began to do what chickens do. And he began scratching for food and doing what all the chickens do and being with the chickens. And when it was time to go into the chicken coop, he went into the chicken coop. And energetically, a naturalist came by, an environmentalist, a naturalist, saw this beautiful eagle that thought it was a chicken in a chicken yard. And he said, what is that beautiful, king of the skies doing in the chicken yard? And the farmer explained, when it was an eaglet, it fell from its nest, and we took it in to safety, and the mother hens, took it in, and it is a chicken, and it thinks it's a chicken, and it is a chicken. Look at it, scratching for food, doing what all the chickens do, right? So the naturalist said, do you mind if I try an experiment? And he said, not at all. So he swooped up the eagle, and he looked into the sky, and he said, you are an eagle. You are the king of the skies. Stretch forth your wings and fly. And the eagle trembled, fluttered its wings, and then looked down at the chickens and jumped down and started scratching with the chickens. Well, the naturalist was not to be daunted. The next day, went into the chicken yard, swooped up the eagle, and said, you are an eagle. You are the king of the skies. You belong not to the earth, but to the sky. Stretch forth your wings and fly. And the eagle fluttered its wings. He trembled. He got skyborn, looked down at the chickens in the chicken yard, went right back down there, started scratching with the chickens. Well, the farmer said, I told you. He thinks he's a chicken. He said, I am not to be daunted. Give me one more chance. The next day, he took the eagle up to a high hill where he couldn't see the chickens in the chicken coop and scratching for food. And he took him to the high hill and he lifted him up and he said, you are an eagle, king of the skies. You belong not to the earth, but to the skies. Stretch forth your wings and fly. And the eagle trembled and began fluttering its wings and fluttering its wings and fluttering its wings and getting airborne and fluttering its wings and went into the sky. And the naturalist saw it. It was just like a speck, but saw another eagle join it as they went off into the sky together. So symbolically, We are born of the earth and the sky. And as we stretch forth our wings and fly, that is the energy of everything is possible. That we get ourselves out of this three-dimensional thinking and begin to ground ourselves spiritually, and to know that that one goes before us and prepares the way as we become a lamp unto our own feet, drawing others into our light and into our energy field. So that as we have our challenges and our things that come up in our lives, we know that this too shall pass. But there is an energy in the universe that is loving and will see us through to the other side. Because with God, all things are possible. If we have the faith as a grain of mustard seed. And I will say to our viewing audience, everyone here today in attendance received a mustard seed. You can barely see it, right? But if we have the faith as a grain of mustard seed, and we say to the situation, this mountain, this problem, this challenge, remove hence, it does. Because with God, all things are possible to them that believe. So today, we make a new choice to come out on the other side and to know that whatever we are going through at any given moment, that there is always the miracle there to make itself known to us as we make ourselves known to it. And that is not by looking down and seeing a tiger below us and seeing a tiger above us and thinking, oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm doomed. That is a declaration to the universe. But to see the strawberry of life in an amazing way, and just plucking it, tasting it, and realizing I only have this moment in time, and I am going to embrace it, and I am going to allow myself to experience it, and thereby, I said he either sprouted wings or God just whooshed him out in the palm of his hand and took him to safety. That's how that works. So today, as we acknowledge that each and every one of us, that we are unlimited, that all things are possible, and I will add to them that believe, because it is in that belief and that energy of knowingness that we create the next paradigm of our own experience. We're all going somewhere, and do you know where that is? Higher yet. Where is it? Higher yet. Where? Higher yet, because I am in a high place, and I will not come down. None of these outer things move me. We are in a high place, and we will not come down. I say to you, Namaste. The God in me celebrates the God in you, and the God in you celebrates the God in me. I say Shalom, the peace that passes all understanding in this beautiful chapel. And God bless us, everyone. I love you. Thank you for joining me on my 44th anniversary in the ministry. So special. Thank you.